Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Acceptable Losses podcast. My name is DK Diamantes. My co-host, Kiriath, is about to guide us through the grim, dark grime of any and all fictional worlds. But before he does, guys, we have some amazing merch over at orchid8.com. The link will be in the description. We have a Founders Pack right now that comes with a t-shirt, long sleeve that are customizable in the sense that in the order that you bought it is going to be the Roman numeral on your shirt. There's also a commemorative coin. There's a really dope enamel pin, an amazing stained glass wall scroll. You should pick it up because it's only here until the end of the year. So pick it up, check it out. Link is in the description. Do it, please. How you doing, Kiriath?
Yeah,
Tell them about the Patreon.
The Patreon is just as good as the Founders Pack, which is quite... I mean, that's a big statement because how good the Founders Pack is. It's so good, and yet the Patreon is just as good because you get access to episodes early, and we've got exclusive stuff up there for you, just you. No one else, only patrons. They're the only ones who get our surface level dives into various, obviously, horrible topics. We've got a couple of Trench Crusade ones coming up, which are going to be very, very fun. So you should also go and check that out. Link, again, in the description. It's absolutely fantastic.
Phenomenal, even.
100%. I felt very salesman-y for a second there. I don't know that I'd be that good in that profession, but, you know, I feel like we'd do a good job. Potentially, maybe.
I would agree. That Founders Pack is so goddamn cool, though. Like,
I love it so much.
It's all good. I was like, do I have a favorite item in it? Well, I mean, I'm a little biased, but it's all good. It's just,
I'm just really excited to constantly rep the podcast by having the wall scroll directly behind me. So anytime I record a video, it's going to be right there. And you know that because it looks so good, people are going to be like, what the hell is that behind you? And then it's just a smooth, easy segue straight into, well, actually, there's this brilliant podcast that you should be checking out. It's going to be so easy to do. And all because it looks so good.
Hell yeah. So, Kiriath, with all that aside, why are we here? What are we learning about? What grim, dark nonsense are you going to teach me about and make me regret being alive for?
It's a hardcore introduction to this one, but it might not be that far off the mark, because today we're going to take a little departure from the usual game-based fare that we've served so far here on Acceptable Losses, and we're going to talk about a film which was recommended to me by a good friend who, despite the nature of this recommendation, I do still speak to them. So,
wow, that's a hell of a segue into the thing. All right.
I mean, to be fair, like, to say that their introduction and explanation of this film was lacking is to make a massive understatement. They basically said, hey, you like sci-fi, right? I've got a good film for you. And that was it. There was no further explanation. There was no warning of what I was going into. And to be fair, they're not wrong. I do love me some sci-fi. The thing is, I went into this experience believing that I was in for a fun sci-fi flick. And what I got instead was a harrowing dose of existential despair that I still think about literally months later. Oh. So, yeah.
It's that existential crisis that really stays with you. It's the stick to your ribs kind of existential crisis. Just great.
Oh yeah, it's proper bleak, harrowing stuff.
Yay! Like we were talking before the episode because you'd put the thing in the chat, so I kind of knew what it was. And when I Googled it, the first hit I saw was, is this a good movie? And the description was, it's bleak, it's depressing, and it's heartbreaking. And I was like, yep, it's an Acceptable Losses episode, all right. That's, wow, yeah, your friend really hit the nail on the head with this one.
It's perfect. And to go into it without actually knowing that and just following a link, in a way, it's probably the way to experience it. But on the other hand, I also feel like you've got to give people some warning. Like you've got to give people at least a little bit of warning.
You're in for a ride.
The tagline is, "A simple trip to Mars will become the journey of a lifetime," which also sounds like almost optimistic and kind
Yeah.
of, we're going into space. It's so not that. It is
no.
so not that.
Yeah, like that tagline just makes you think like, oh yeah, it's just, yeah, we're going to the red planet. Hooray. It's a harrowing journey and everything's gonna be okay.
I want you to remember the phrase, the journey of a lifetime, by the time we get to the end of this episode, because I would actually say that in a film that doesn't have a huge amount of comedy, that tagline by itself classes as some of the darkest humor that I think you'll find attached to any film. So yeah, let's talk about my my most least favorite sci-fi experience ever. It's the future. Earth is a mess, racked with pollution and battered by natural disasters, with sea levels rising so severely that most of the planet is becoming uninhabitable. Nuclear war has not helped much either. With Earth an increasingly miserable prospect, humanity is spread to Mars, which, is a trope that is extremely familiar at this point. Although, to be fair, the poem on which this film is based was written between 1953 and 1956. So the author, Harry Martinson, he was ahead of the curve on that plot point. He got there, he got in there early. When do the fictional parts come in? Please, Shy. We don't.
Yeah,
we don't
I was gonna say this is a very common sci-fi trope that humans have ruined Earth, overpopulation, too much technology, environmental crisis is making Earth nigh uninhabitable, so humanity has to reach out to the stars. Sometimes they're nice about it, and sometimes it's Avatar, and we try to genocide the population because unobtainium is good. So,
unobtainium again. Oh no.
He has a piece of it in his hand, brother. It's obtainium is what it is. It's hard to obtainium, but you can absolutely anyway, that's a whole different rant for a different time.
I love hard to obtainium. That's such a better name. It's so
mildly difficult to obtainium? I don't know.
Inconvenienceum? I don't know.
Apparently unobtainium is actually like a real substance, and it is a real classification that they didn't just make up. And I'm like, brother, that makes it worse. I don't love that that's a real thing. Anyway, sorry, I have sidetracked this early.
I'm just ignoring the fact that Shah is like, yes, sci-fi trope, total fantasy. It is, all right? We haven't left the planet yet, so it technically is still sci-fi.
We haven't ruined our planet yet.
I was going to say, I used the word yet and immediately was like, oh no.
Yeah, we're working on it, but, it's... anyway. So, dystopian future, Earth is a mess, tides are rising, we got to get out of here. We want to colonize Mars, more or less.
Yep, pretty much. So shiploads of colonists are being transplanted from the ruin of Earth to the Red Planet, a place that isn't necessarily welcoming, but it is less of a mess than Earth is. And one such ship sets off on this short 3-week journey with a full payload of willing people, but it never reaches its destination. Now that ship is the Aniara, the vessel after which this film is named, and it's about to make unwilling explorers of its passengers, taking them on a voyage into the depths of space that none of them are prepared for. So today, on Acceptable Losses, we're going to talk about the journey of the Aniara and the poor, unfortunate souls travelling within her, and get a bit of a glimpse into the frailty and the resilience of the human spirit, the sheer cosmic scale of coincidence, how we as people view the world around us, and what it means to attach meaning to the things that impact our day-to-day lives. And if you're thinking, I'm not at all familiar with this, is this even that grim or dark? You're in for a treat. A horrible, existential, dread-filled treat. So sit back and relax, I guess.
Yay, not what I wanted to find in my Halloween bag, but all right, sure. Ding ding, trick or treat. Here's some existential dread that will stick with you for months. I just wanted a Snickers.
This is not what I was promised from Santa, but okay.
Can I just get a Kit Kat, lady? No, it's Aniara. The Blu-ray disc. What?
You have to watch it at least once.
Yeah. Yeah, you signed up for a grim dark podcast when you went to a thing called Acceptable Losses. You knew
It's true.
what door you were going into.
Yep, 100%. So we're going to start from the beginning. The Aniara is packed with travelers, people seeking a brighter tomorrow on a new world. Now, the ship is kitted out for luxury travel, essentially. So there's gyms, a swimming pool, a shopping mall. The cabins have like ensuite bathrooms. There's entertainment facilities, anything and everything to keep the passengers comfortable on their 3-week-long journey. Not even like, it's not 3 months, it's 3 weeks. The ship launches, making its way across the solar system towards their new home, the planet Mars, and for about a week, everything is going as planned. Then, you'll be shocked to learn things change.
No shot. Also, 3-week journey, and they give them a ship with a shopping mall, a pool, and all that for a 3-week trip, huh?
Yeah, you got to keep them comfortable. You got to make it so it's a nice journey.
But like, man, I'm just thinking of like the way we do astronauts dirty now. Then is because like we send them up with just the most basic amenities and freeze dried food and stuff like that, and it's like, man, these guys got a shopping mall. Crazy.
I mean, the facilities are really nice. Yeah, it's basically a cruise ship. It's set up in that sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
You just, you're not really intending for most of the people there anyway to come back to Earth. You're moving somewhere else, but you get to go there in style, so to speak. I say in style. The Aniara in the film it's basically a big rectangle covered in buildings, but I mean, it's space. Ships don't actually need to be, nice and streamlined or aerodynamic because there's nothing to, resist against. But
That's such a weird looking ship. It looks like a piece of a Borg ship just snapped off.
It's literally just, it's like someone just lifted a section of town out of the floor and then just went, and you're off. There you go. But I guess you don't really need anything else whilst you're up there. It's just there to get you from one place to the other. Now, before we get into what changes, we should talk about a very important part of this ship, which is, it's important for the 3-week journey, but it's absolutely crucial for the long voyage the Aniara would find itself taking. That is the Mima, which is an artificial intelligence that's designed to evoke experiences of Earth in the people interfacing with it. Not like the polluted nightmare that Earth has become, but the old Earth, the one that's covered in, lush green fields and beautiful forests, calming lakes, crystal clear rivers. It's a totally immersive virtual reality experience, tapping into the viewer's memories and emotions, creating a sense of calm and wellness. 3 weeks on a ship that has the interior of a shopping mall mixed with an upscale hotel, isn't that great for the psyche, after all? Like, that's 3 weeks where you can't go outside, you can't look at a different, you can't change the scenery. You can't look out the window without seeing the depths of space. You can't do anything different. Every day is basically the same in a closed environment that you do not have the option to leave. Humans as a whole, we know, they're not great at being confined for that long, as many of us discovered during the COVID lockdowns. And yeah, as Shai points out, there's no green anywhere. Earth is not looking good in that screenshot.
As someone that was during COVID was like, yeah, this is fine. This is just like my everyday life. I'm just kind of like side-eyeing right now whenever you're just like, yeah, people don't do well when they're cooped up for doing the same thing every day. And I'm just like, they're not. Oh, that's just me. Oh, cool. Great.
We'll just call that a blanket statement. There's always exceptions. It's fine, but
also the Aniara has like a shopping mall and swim. They didn't decide to bring any like foliage. Well, is this like a dystopian Earth that literally like there's no foliage left anywhere, and it's just like this bleak gray planet, and there's just like, well, of course we didn't bring any plants or any decorative like greenery with us. There isn't any.
There's a little bit of like decorative stuff going on, but like you can see from the screenshot there that Earth is pretty barren. There's not much green there. Like that is the Aniara setting off from Earth. It's very brown where it should be green.
Yeah,
you know?
as I was looking at that, I was like, "Oh no, that's Earth behind it, isn't it? That big brown splotch is Earth, isn't it?"
Yeah, you can see the normally quite green and pleasant Europe there. Looking distinctly neither of those things.
Yeah, brown and dead. Okay, well, yeah, all right. I should have realized that, but all right, okay.
Absolutely not where you want to be. I mean, the fact that it's that bad that you're like, hey, Mars sounds good. That's rough. That's
True.
real rough.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, so thinking of Aniara as a piece of city rather than a ship floating through space seemed a good fit for the endless interior of nondescript contemporary consumption. Hell yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that is what the designer of the Aniara ship said about like designing it, and it's just wow.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a little piece of city floating through space.
Yep. Good for 3 weeks, but we'll get to it. So, Mima, the kind of AI invoking artificial reality, vital part of keeping the passengers healthy and happy, providing an escape from this very sort of bland interior. Now, we're going to go back to the change that I mentioned during the first week. So, during that first week of the Aniara's journey, the ship has to make an emergency course correction. There's a field of space debris in its path, and a collision would pose an existential threat, so the ship veers violently to one side, avoiding most of the debris.
Ooh.
Most of it. In the vastness of space, somehow, by sheer coincidence, some of the debris pierces through the hull of the ship and hits the nuclear reactor, a blow which immediately triggers a meltdown. And the only solution the crew has is to eject the fuel, as a meltdown would see the ship and all the passengers be destroyed.
Yep, that sounds about right. Yep.
So they do it. The fuel's ejected, ship's saved, all good. However, ejecting the fuel leaves the Aniara without proper navigational control, without propulsion, and without any way to get back on course to Mars. The Aniara has been set adrift, heading out of the solar system and into the depths of space.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as you said they had to eject the core, I was just like, oh no. That means they're just gonna, while they were supposed to go to Mars, they're just gonna be adrift.
I mean, you're not far off, but that's also very pessimistic, because not all hope is lost. The captain of the ship, one Captain Cheffon, gathers the passengers in the great theatre section and informs them that while they are off course and while the ship is lacking navigational control, the crew has a solution and the passengers will still make it to Mars, albeit a little later than was originally intended. See, once the Aniara gets close to a celestial body, they would use the gravity of that body to slingshot the ship back on track. Simple, right?
The old slingshot technique. You love to see that in sci-fi. You love the old slingshot around the moon and get us back on course. Slingshot around the sun in Star Trek for a little time travel. Love it.
It's a classic.
It's a real thing, right? Like NASA's actually done like a gravitational slingshot, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think it was was it Apollo 13 or was that just the movie?
I'm pretty sure with Apollo 13 they did the whole slingshot thing.
Slingshot around the moon, right?
Apart. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was like, did that happen or am I just remembering the Tom Hanks movie?
It's a pretty good film, to be fair.
It is. And I was like, is the movie historically accurate?
I think for the most part, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
Which is what makes it so insane.
Yeah.
The good news is, for the Aniara, this slingshot maneuver should happen in no more than 2 years.
A little more than 3 weeks, but all right. At least you'll get there.
It's not great. You know, the passengers aren't pleased, which is, I think, fair. 2 years stuck on a ship designed to keep people alive and content for 3 weeks it's a bit of an ask. It is also worth pointing out at this stage that the passengers on the ship are varied in terms of age. So there's couples with newborns, there's families with kids, there's old folk who perhaps don't necessarily have 2 years of life left in them, and they kind of wanted to pass away peacefully somewhere that wasn't the ruin of what Earth used to be. A trip taking 2 years rather than 3 weeks, it's not an inconvenience. It's a significant life change. So you can understand that they're a little bit unhappy about the whole situation.
Sure. So they're good with supplies for 2 years? Because initially it was only supposed to take 3 weeks. So I'm assuming like, oh yeah, maybe some unforeseen thing happens and maybe we've got, I don't know, a month's worth of supplies or something. But like, are they like prepared for 2 years of rationing everything?
Well, we're going to get to that, don't you worry.
Okay.
It becomes somewhat more complicated than that,
Oh
funnily
no.
enough.
Curious, like, you know those old people I mentioned that didn't have 2 years? It's just I've never seen it. I don't know what's coming up. Sheesh. Sorry.
What's the phrase? Is it long pig? Is that the word for like human meat?
Listen, Kiriath, I am American, but calling me a straight up pig, great.
We're straight into the personal insults.
Wild.
The fact is, though, that, regardless of how awful that change was and, how long the journey now is, it was necessary to keep everyone alive. And
Yes.
for now, at least, the passengers are alive and capable of making the journey. And the captain and the crew have got their plan, the passengers know the deal. Now it's just a case of getting on with it and getting the journey over with, right?
I guess.
Well, yeah, about that. I'm going to introduce at this point a lady who is generally referred to in the film as Mima. So she works with Mima, instructing participants on how to interface with the AI, waking them when their allotted time is up, and maintaining Mima as a whole. Something that comes across very strongly in this film is how immediate the effect of Mima is on those who interact with it. Some passengers find themselves overwhelmed by the visions the AI produces for them almost immediately, like unable to control themselves, simply falling to the floor. Mima has a presence that seems to require specific training to resist or ignore, and as such, Mima is important in how she's able to guide viewers through that experience. Now, as we mentioned, Mima is an important aspect of the mental health of the passengers on board this vessel. The 3-week journey was already strenuous for some of them, but the sudden extension of this journey to 2 years long, that's hit the passengers as a whole pretty hard, and so the usage of Mima goes up.
Oh.
The main problem with this 2-year figure is that it is a complete fabrication. It's flat out a lie to try and instill some hope in the passengers and keep morale up. An astronomer on board the ship drunkenly informs Mima that there simply are no celestial bodies in their path. The Aniara will never turn round, it will never arrive at Mars, it will simply drift into the depths of space, carrying its cargo of lost souls. And this becomes a rumour that sweeps the ship, and the societal situation starts to shift, heading towards a slow but steady decline.
Oh. Boy, they definitely don't have supplies for that trip. The endless trip that will never end, and you're just going to, oh boy. Yeah.
You are correct. That's do
not great. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that answers the previous question. Anyway, that's great. So this AI thing acts at like some of the people like, oh yeah, I just want to see a green forest, and then the AI just makes such a lush green forest that they're just like, oh my god, it's too great, kunk, and they just like pass out.
Yeah, they get overwhelmed by it. They just like find themselves absorbed into the visions, and they have to be kind of guided down to the floor so that they can lay face down. There's these like weird pillows they've got to put their face in so they don't hurt themselves whilst they're lying there. And there's like a certain amount of time that each person gets, but it goes up. the number of people wanting to see visions of anything other than the ship and, the vast darkness of deep space, the usage, it goes up quite a bit.
Yeah, I imagine it does. Yeah, I get that. I get getting addicted to the AI euphoria of, not existential dread and knowing that you're probably going to die in space in a consumerist nightmare ship city.
Yeah. Yep. I will say just before I read the next couple of lines, do brace yourself. So after 3 years of travel, so we're already won over the fictional. Don't worry, lads, it's 2 years, but we'll be back home soon. No, after 3 years of travel, Mima goes from being utilized by a small percentage of the population to almost everyone constantly. Mima has become the escape. It's like the saving grace for the passengers on this voyage of the damned. It keeps them calm, gives them distraction and peace, and moments of existence not hemmed in by the walls of what is basically becoming this great metal coffin that used to be their transport to a better life. Even so, the memories of Earth that the passengers focus on are ones of destruction, of the death of Earth. Their hopelessness is only bringing negativity to Mima, who feeds off their memories and their moods. Eventually, the AI can take no more and willingly self-destructs, destroying itself after speaking to Mima Roba, something that it should never do.
How many people can use Mima at the same time? Because you said everybody's using it.
Initially, it's like initially you see kind of maybe 5 or 6 people using the room where Mima is installed at any one given time, and they have a certain amount of time, and then they file out, and then Mima gets loads of time to rest. By the time this happens, there's 20 to 30 people cramming their way into the room. Ooh. And then as they are leaving, another 20 to 30 are filing in, and they've essentially had to work out a rota so that everybody can get into the room and have these nice, calming, peaceful visions of Earth, which they know things are going wrong, or at least Mima Roba does, because her visions go from being nice, clean, crystal waters to birds falling out of the sky, hitting the ground and spreading blood all over the floor, and fires, and Mima Roba knows that things are not good.
So Mima Roba is directly affected by the things that she's showing these people. Because I guess in my head I thought it was just oh yeah, Mima's just AI. It doesn't really care what it shows you. And it's no, by the way, it hates it too. And it's great, you guys are so depressed you made the AI want to die.
Yeah, Mima is directly impacted by what the people feel, and Mima ends up giving these awful visions to Mima Roba, who is the handler or caretaker for the AI.
Yeah.
And so there's a bit of telegraphing going on, but funnily enough, it doesn't really lead to anything good happening regardless.
Yeah. So this is the speech they give before they just, unalive.
Yes.
My consciousness aches for the stones. I've heard them cry their stonely cries, seen the granite's white-hot weeping. I've been troubled by their pains. In the name of things I want peace. I will be done with my displays. There is protection from nearly everything, but there is no protection from mankind. Prolonging the very second when you burst, how terror blasts in, how terror blasts out, how grim it always is. One's detonation. God damn. God.
It's hardcore, and also
Jesus
this point in the film, Mima is saying this stuff out loud, and the passengers are ignoring it. They are still filing in. They're still walking in, expecting to get their visions, to get their escapism. Mima Roba and her assistants are screaming at them to get out because Mima doesn't talk. Mima is not supposed to talk, but Mima is directly speaking to them. and the passengers are just like, "What's going on? I'm here for my daily escapism." And Mima self-detonates, so literally explodes itself to escape from having to deal with the psyches of these passengers. It's horrible. Like, it's actually really grim.
Jesus Christ. That's damn.
Remember, you like
Being
sci-fi, right?
Yeah, you're a big sci-fi fan, right, Kieran? Boy, do I have the
love
movie
it,
for
love it,
you.
sci-fi.
The crew's so depressed they made the AI want to just. Oh my god! All right, and what a speech! What a speech to just ignore and be like, "Yeah, so where's my dead bird fanfic vision?"
It's so like. There's a few films I've watched where, as something's happening, you know it's a film, you know it's written that way, you know that people aren't acting like logically or whatever, but you're still sat there going, please stop, please, someone listen, someone do something, for the love of God, do something. And I was watching it and I was like, I'm getting angry at how no one's paying attention to this, because it's clearly really bad.
Yeah.
How is no one reacting to this? I hate it.
Yeah, that's kind of deep. That's All right, we've definitely checked off the grimdark box, so that's good.
100%.
If we hadn't before, we checked and double checked that box.
I do like that. AI in other movies, I will kill all humans because they suck. AI in Aniara, humans are so miserable, I'd rather self-destruct than exist anywhere near you for one more second. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I'm surprised the AI memer didn't just like go rogue and just start showing them like, oh yeah, you guys want to be depressed? How about I show you visions of, I don't know, you splatting on the concrete or something, and just like, oh.
Well, that's the thing. It had already started to do that. Like, it had already been providing visions that were not calming, that were not serene, but everyone ignored them. Everyone just went, oh, well, I guess I still, it's still better than looking out into space. Sure.
That's crazy. It shows you all these horrible things and like, well, better than what I got going on in real life.
Yeah. So, I would rather see apocalypse than stare at a dead metal wall. So, for Mima Roba, this is a tragedy in both a personal and social sense. Like, she is extremely and deeply connected to Mima as the primary caretaker. So the loss of Mima, it's not just a case of, oh, this tool that we need is broken. It's losing something that she has been trained to care for. And now
it's like
that
her whole
thing
purpose.
has and that thing has willingly chosen to cease existing. And it gets worse because she'd asked the captain for more help and eventually for Mima to be given some respite. She wanted a full month without the passengers unloading their pain and despair into the AI. But the captain decided that Mima was beyond vital to the mental health of the passengers, and so Mima Roba's requests were completely denied. Like, a more reasonable captain may have found another way, but the strain of shepherding a group of unwilling explorers was already starting to show, and so Captain Chefon was unsympathetic to these pleas.
Yeesh, that's unfortunate.
It's actually awful. It's very good writing, but it's like, my heart hurts now. I don't like it.
Yeah, that's not great. I mean, I guess you kind of see where the captain's coming from, where it's like, well, they kind of need it, or they're just gonna like, Javik themselves and just jump out the airlock or something. Like, we gotta keep that thing on. Like,
yeah, it's an impossible position to be in. Like how do you maintain like morale and the will to exist when you know that there is nothing, there's nothing next. There is no next. This is what everything is. This ship is everything now. How do you get people to continue feeling hopeful and willing to do things in that situation? Like, there's just no way of managing that in a way that works.
Yep. Also, Shai said, listen, he's also not an AI expert, and he needs to keep these people from going feral. And my mind immediately went, Yeah, but now we have no AI, so does that mean everybody goes, oh no. Everybody goes feral, don't they?
Oh, I don't know why you'd assume that. So
My
the
mind
population.
immediately was like, well, but there's no AI anymore, Shy, so wouldn't everybody... Oh.
There is so much of this film is like, I really want to know what happens next, but at the same time, I don't actually know whether I want to see what happens next. Like kind of
Yeah,
the curiosity is driving me, but
it's
going to be
that
bad.
morbid curiosity of like you see the trains oncoming, you see them speeding at each other, and it's like, oh God, I should look away. But you always look back, don't you? You always want to see the impact, and it's just like, that morbid curiosity will get you every time.
This is why it's my most least favorite sci-fi film. It's literally the you can't help but continue to watch, even though you know it's awful. I don't know how else to. Yeah, it's weird.
It's the car wreck.
I will say as well, it's a very well acted film. There's no English dub; it's all subbed, but it's good. So yeah, the population on board the Aniara turned against Mima Roba and called for her to be punished for Mima's death. They said that she had been keeping Mima to herself and using it during the small hours of the night, taking advantage of her position, and so Mima Roba is punished for her part in the death of the only thing that was giving the passengers some relief. Now, in the wake of this punishment, one of the bridge crew was also given a harsh sentence. Isabel, Mima Roba's lover, had an altercation with the captain, striking him and hurting him after his treatment of her partner. The two of them are kept under lock and key until they're needed once again. Now, at this point, we've talked about food somewhat, in that how do they have the supplies? Well, this is the point where we should probably talk basic survival. We know the ship seems to be heading off into space on a one-way journey, but that raises questions like how much food is there? What do they do about oxygen? What's the deal with water consumption? All of that stuff, like the logistical side of things.
Sure.
Food-wise, they don't have enough. It's as simple as that, really. The meals that the passengers have been enjoying will eventually run out, and they'd be in serious trouble if it wasn't for the algae tanks that are used for the production of oxygen. So, with a bit of ingenuity and an increased number of workers operating the algae tanks means that the ship can continue providing sustenance, although the food gets repetitive, as it is literally a case of eating the algae that's used to make the air that they breathe. Not sustainable.
No, I was going to say eventually you'll run out of algae too, right? Because you've got a city to feed, and that is very not sustainable. I just went on the assumption that this is not Star Trek Perfectville, where they have machines that will make food for you with very little resources. So this sounds awful.
Oh, 100%. If you're wondering how that scales and whether eating the algae would result in having too little air for the passengers, well...
I was literally about to ask that.
This is Aniara. The number of passengers goes down drastically.
Right. Of course it does.
So, the fourth year of the Aniara's accidental journey sees cults rise. Groups of passengers cluster together and beg for the return of the sun, crying out for release from the pitch-black void of space, declaring themselves as being punished for sins real or imagined. Fertility cults spring up as well, with one assembling in the ruins of Mima's chamber and losing themselves in orgies dedicated to the AI that destroyed itself to escape them. Now, at this point, Mima Roba and Isabel would be freed from their imprisonment, assigned to help teach the children of this doomed expedition and guide the forgotten craft on its voyage. Okay.
Boy,
the two of them...
That's being released from one prison into an entirely different prison.
Oh, definitely. And it arguably does sort of get worse from this point on. I mean, you could say that at any point throughout this entire film, honestly. The two of them join the fertility cult dedicated to the remains of Mima.
Of course.
And, yep. And Isabel eventually gives birth to a child.
Oh, great. What a wonderful thing to be born into. God damn.
Oh, poor kid. So,
Jesus Christ.
we have like already seen the frailty of humanity expressed in this film. Even some of the captain's stronger moments are actually expressions of frailty. Like, he keeps the ship in order because it's his duty, but he also strays from the path of that duty by ignoring those he's supposed to protect, hurting those under his command, and lashing out in anger and frustration at the situation that he and the ship and the passengers are in. With the birth of Isagel's child, we see some of the resilience. Like, despite the hopeless nature of their situation, there is happiness and something to work towards. Mima AI especially displays a drive and strength that was beginning to peter out. Mima AI and Isagel are happy with their child to some extent. The fact is that being trapped on the Aniara for this long has taken a severe toll on everyone. A significant chunk of the passengers have died by self-inflicted means, and there are cults dedicated to the void, the absent light of the sun, or to the absent AI Mima. The population of this unwilling colony of explorers has dwindled massively, and for good reason. This was supposed to be a 3-week trip, and it has already taken 4 years. Not only that, it's taken 4 years for them to never see Earth or Mars again.
Or just anything that they even remember. Like, even, oh, man. I was going to say, like, even if you could, like, make it back to Earth somehow, it's like, well, Earth's not in a great spot, but, well, at least it's home. This is just like, no, this is it. This is all you got. Unless, like, some crazy miracle happens. I mean, at this point, if they ran into a celestial body, could they even slingshot? And would it even matter? Because you're already 4 years in. Even if you slingshot, it would probably take you another 4 or 5 years just to get back to, like, the Sol system. I'm assuming they're out of the Sol system by now. Man, this is it. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they are so far out, and there is nothing in their path. It's This is where, like, the whole, like, existential dread comes in. I don't have the capacity to put myself in that position enough, but I have enough of an understanding of how that might feel to be like, I hate this. Like, just on a core level, I'm like, no.
Yeah, this is the rest of your life. I hope you're ready for it.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the ship they're trapped on, it's the entirety of their existence. Most likely until death by accident, age, or their own choice. That is a horrifying thought, and I don't care who you are. No one's looking at that going, oh, sounds great. No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Nope. No chance. Not me.
So in the 5th year, Isagel and the astronomer who first spilled the beans about the Aniara never being able to turn around make a discovery. There's an object heading towards the ship, something large enough to contain fuel for the nuclear reactor. An announcement is made, and hope briefly rears its head. It takes over a year for this probe to reach the ship, but in the 6th year of the voyage, the object is successfully grappled and brought aboard the ship. In the poem, it's known as the Spear. Now, in the film, they don't really name it. It's just, there's a thing, and we've grabbed it. But, or at least I think maybe in the subtitle, in the titles that come up for each chapter, so to speak, in the film, it might say the Spear, but in the poem, there's like a whole section dedicated to it.
Yeah. Didn't they eject their nuclear core?
They did, but the Spear is big enough that there may be a replacement one inside it.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just like we might have few. Okay, got you. All right, cool.
So the crew cling to the idea that the Spear has been sent to aid them, that it will contain the fuel they so desperately need to turn the ship around and head for home. They grapple it, they bring it on board, and the Spear is set upon by the crew with the tools they have available, and it quickly becomes obvious that they have no idea what this artifact is, or how to open it, or even whether it can be opened at all. The origins of the Spear are unknown, the fuel it uses a mystery, and the captain orders the crew to continue work on opening this probe that they found, but no progress is made. Nothing that they can do even scratches the surface. You like sci-fi, right?
I was about to say, I don't like this. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I don't like the unidentified alien spear that cannot be opened, and you're not even making a dent in it, and who knows what's in it. How big is this thing again? This is like probe size? Just think generic probe type size.
It's pretty big. Like, I think from the film, it looks to be I would say probably a good 100 feet or so long.
Okay.
Like,
Big probe.
it's sizable. It's enough to be able to have some sort of fuel in it that they could maybe use to power the ship.
Yeah.
But their assumption is that it has to be for them. So this is actually it's one of my favorite parts of the film. I've seen discussions about what the spear is, and I'll be honest, a lot of the discussions are on Reddit, which is already sort of somewhat of a red flag, but a lot of them, for me, miss the point, which sounds very arrogant and holier than thou, but just bear with me, right? So I've read theories that it was sent from Earth or Mars as a method to refuel the ship, but due to scientific advancements made on Earth since the ship's departure, the Aniara was unable to access it. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Anyone mounting a rescue mission, via this probe, they would know what technology the ship has. So they wouldn't send something they have no hope of interacting with in a meaningful way. It doesn't make any sense to me, that idea.
Yeah, it's also weird because it would have had to have gotten ahead of them. And
yeah, it needed to be launched at such a velocity that it caught up and then would surpass them.
Yeah, and then they would find it. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, and also they don't know what it is, and it doesn't really look familiar to them. They just think it's been 4 years. A lot can happen in 4 years. I don't think technology would advance at such a rate that they would find it and be like, "What's this? It doesn't look like anything I've ever seen." Yeah, sure, you might be confused by it, but you should still be able to figure out how to crack open the supposed med kit that's been light speeded to you, right?
That's the thing, yeah. It's 6 years since the ship went off course.
Oh,
But
yeah.
6 years, it's not. I don't think that's enough time. The idea that humanity would find, in that time, a completely unknown material, build a rescue probe out of it, and send it on its way, despite knowing that the ship wouldn't be able to interface with it, that just doesn't make sense to me, personally. I just don't see how that works with the kind of internal logic of this film.
Yeah.
Another theory is that the spear is effectively a form of euthanasia. So Earth realized one of their ships was heading away from the solar system, no hope of return, and decided to try and destroy it, ending the lives of the unfortunate souls trapped aboard before they could starve to death on a ship that is simply not equipped for long-term survival. Again, though, and this sounds really cold, Earth is in ruins. Humanity is going to Mars out of necessity. The spear is made of unknown materials, can't be breached, and was travelling adjacent to the ship, not on a direct intercept course. The ship had to deploy these grapples to bring it on board. It could be that they simply missed, which would be easy to do given the vastness of space, and a relatively minuscule target. On the cosmic scale of things, a ship the size of a city block is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. But if the chances on this one single attempt are that slim, why would they waste those resources to begin with? What sense does that make?
I was going to say, because you said it's an unknown substance, and it's well, unless Earth has harvested or found a way to harvest a brand new substance, and it's just in abundance, and they just had it to waste, it's well, when your planet's in ruin, you're probably not going to just waste resources and be well, let's use up all these rare resources to make a spear, and maybe we'll destroy the wayward. I don't know. That doesn't sound right to me. I haven't even seen the film, so I don't really have any skin in the game. But yeah, the way it's described, that doesn't quite sound right to me. That it's from Earth, that it was meant to just collide with the ship, destroy the ship, put everybody out of their misery, or even be a sort of savior med kit. Just doesn't quite. I could see them maybe wanting to send a med kit, but the fact that they have no idea how to open the damn thing or what it is kind of makes it a little less than plausible to me.
Yeah, I personally, I think the spear is just a coincidence. like an insane, unlikely, improbable coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also something that is backed up by the poem that inspired the film. So I'm going to give you something to read here. It's worth noting that in the poem, the year where they encounter the spear is different. So in the film, it's 6 years in the poem, it's 11 years, but still, it's the same event, just different timescale. So
Yeah. In our 11th year, we saw a vision, the narrowest and meagerest of visions, a spear that traveled through the universe. We both had come out of the same direction, and it did not veer off, but held its course. Its rate of speed exceeded the Goldener's, so that the spear moved promptly off beyond us. But afterwards, we sat in groups for hours, speaking excitedly with one another about the spear, about its path and origin. But no one knew. And nobody could know. Some tried to guess, but nobody believed. In some sense, it was not to be believed. Lack of meaning as an object of belief. It was simply flying through the universe. The void spear moved along its pointless course, but nonetheless, the vision had the power to alter many people's brains. 3 meant mad. 1 was the unalive, and still another started up a sect, a shrill, dry, tediously aesthetic crew from Aniara long had much ado, so we were all struck by the spear, head on. So the spear actually was coming from the same direction that they were going.
It was. In the poem, it just goes straight past them and causes like a lot of speculation, but there's no direct interaction. For the film, they actively grabbed it and brought it on board, and kind of attached a lot of hope to it as being some form of assistance.
And in the poem, it just races past them, essentially, and it just misses them. They don't get it, but everybody's just like, "Well, what hope? Maybe that was like a deity or something," and they make a cult for it. No, well, I get where the idea that people are like, oh yeah, that was from Earth, right? Earth sent a whatever. Because for some reason in my brain, when you were describing it, I was like, oh, it's something that like was in their path. Like they were moving forward. Oh, look, there's the spear. Let's go grab it. I didn't realize it came from like behind them. So at least now I understand why people are like, oh yeah, it could be from Earth. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, so Shai said, yes, it's a space artifact of unknown origin. It's weird, creepy, but to me, the main point is that it's useless no matter what it is. They spent 2 years tracking it, coping for nothing. In my opinion, it's just a symbol of the bargaining stage of grief. That's.
Ooh.
I feel like
I like that, Shai. I like that idea. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I also like for me, like one of the contributing factors as to what the spear is that section of the poem, which is that the spear is just it can be a symbol, it can also just be a coincidence at the same time. Because like, what are the chances that specific Mima rover would be on the Aniara when it had to alter course to avoid debris that hadn't caused issues for any other ship? What are the chances that some of that debris would then cause an imminent meltdown? What are the chances that on board this doomed vessel, Mima rover might find the love of her life in Isabel? What are the chances of any vessel at any point in human history that it would be the Aniara that might intercept something of unknown alien origin? Like, everything, it sounds really, I don't know how to, simplistic, I guess. The idea that everything is a coincidence, so nothing is, but in a very real way, everything is. Things just
happen.
Like, the phrase, everything happens for a reason, is very common. Like, sometimes it's used to deal with tragedy, other times it's used to explain incredible luck. But sometimes, though, things do just happen. Like, they happen and we ascribe meaning to them, because without that meaning, we'd kind of have to accept that anything and everything that happens is wildly out of our control. For me, the spear is the embodiment of the idea that things just happen. For those on the Aniara, the spear didn't make sense unless it was related directly to them. It couldn't exist outside of the framework of their importance. The spear had to be for them. If it wasn't for them, why were they able to see it, to touch it, to interact with it? But at the same time, for me, it's just another cosmic coincidence, like an incredibly, insanely unlikely event, a 0.1 in a trillion occurrence that may as well have never happened at all. Because outside of the importance given to it by the population of the Aniara, what did it actually provide? What did it give them? What did it do to change the course of humanity?
Just gave them a bunch of false hope, really. That it would actually be for them, and
yeah, it changed nothing. The Aniara was unable to extract any fuel. The crew gave up attempting to prise it open, and then it just sat in the cargo bay, accumulating dust. And it was never going to end up completing the journey it had been dispatched on. It was basically a false hope, but it was only a false hope because it was given false meaning, because human beings are just driven to apply meaning to everything, even when there's no meaning to apply. It was just a thing that happened to be there when they were there at the same time. Which, again, is very kind of, everything is way bigger than me and that is scary, which is a very fun thing to throw at people. But at the same time,
say,
I think
when you think of Earth on a cosmic scale and you think of like your meaning and place in the wider galaxy or even just the universe, you are not even a drop in the bucket. It's not, you are barely a molecule in a drop that goes into the bucket. Barely.
Yeah. It's horrifying to think about, but it's also just how the universe is. But at the same time, one of the things that I really like with Shy talking about the kind of the symbol of the bargaining stage of grief, that's in a weird way a very relevant way to view it, because even though it didn't actually do anything for the people on the Aniara, as the people viewing the film or like reading the poem, it has immense symbolism because of how it didn't do anything for them. So even when the object itself and the impact it had on the people who it interacted with, even when nothing happened there was no meaning for them, there's still meaning attached to it outside of that, which again feels like a very kind of meta thing to
that's kind of a
on.
meta commentary. Yeah.
But yeah, I've read so many discussions about the spear, and there's so many things of like, well, it just doesn't make sense that it came from like an alien civilization, or that they didn't know what it was. It's like, no, that for me, that's what makes the most sense.
That's sort of the point, yeah.
Yeah, because that's kind of what they were going for. It's the idea that, hey, things just happen.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all there is to it. Trying to drive more into it and read more into it is exactly what you're supposed to do, even though that a lot of the time isn't the actual answer. I don't know. I love that part of the film, because as I was watching it, I was like, well, where did it come from? And then I just suddenly thought, you're not supposed to know.
No.
That's the whole point. You're not supposed to know. You're not supposed to know where it came from, necessarily where it was going, what it's for, who made it, why they made it, how long ago they made it. All of that is irrelevant. It's just one more thing that happens to have happened, and that's it.
So I'm assuming when they realize that they can't do anything with the spear, can't get the fuel, they don't know what it's for, can't crack it open, I am assuming they had an influx of, they had a surge of hope and more hopelessness, more despair, because, oh God, the thing that was supposed to save us, we can't use, and oh no.
I don't know why you'd assume this. I don't know why you'd...
Yeah.
So
crazy, right?
Well, relatively early on, the astronomer who was the one who kind of pointed out that, hey, the Aniara can't slingshot round a celestial body because there aren't any. That same astronomer expresses that the spear is nothing but a demonstration of cosmic irony, that it's meaningless, that it's useless to the passengers and the crew. And the captain finally snaps and kills her in retaliation for her statements. You like sci-fi, right? You love sci-fi.
I'm kind of surprised the astronomer lasted this long, because they're the one that spilled the beans and sort of almost started the snowball effect of hopelessness. Because at least, granted, I don't know, some people might argue that it's better to know that there's no hope than to just have that false hope that eventually we're going to do it. But it's just I don't know, loose-lipped astronomer just getting drunk and telling everyone, "Hey, everyone, life sucks. There's no oh man, I'm when with all the cults that are sprouting up, I'm surprised someone hasn't taken their rage out on the astronomer way before the captain. In what, 11 years or something? 6 years?
6 years, yeah. I love that you said get drunk and spread it around. One of the things that is notable about the character is that she is if she wasn't an alcoholic before the start of the film, she becomes one. Yeah. So you actually nailed it. You nailed it. What? She kind of starts out a bit sassy, but when she realizes we're off course, there's no celestial body, she goes hard into the vodka and stays there pretty much throughout. There's no real break from it. So you saying that, I was like, nailed it. Immediately got it.
Hell yeah.
So shortly after this, after the spear is abandoned, it's left to gather dust and never to complete whatever journey it was on, Mima begins work on a device that should help the ever-shrinking population of the Aniara. So she'd been asking the captain for permission to work on something using the projectors utilized by Mima to engineer something that would distract the passengers from their plight and give them hope during their lives aboard the ship. The captain had been resistant to her request because she was needed to teach astrophysics. That was necessary because the Aniara needed a skilled crew with sound theoretical knowledge to grapple the spear using the onboard grapple system. With the spear retrieved, and its secrets forever locked behind an impenetrable hull, the importance of this job fell to nothing. So, Mima took the time and care to build something truly wonderful, something that would assist the passengers on board with their mental health and give them some small glimmer of hope or distraction at the very least. So, the remains of Mima are now used to project waterfalls and scenes of nature outside the ship. Rather than the grim, unending darkness of space, the passengers can now see visions of Earth, or at least what Earth used to be. They stand at the windows staring out into the eternal night, now broken by images of flowing water and waving green trees. For the first time in 2 long years, the population of the Aniara are treated with the sight of something that isn't the abandoned shops or bland living quarters. This is a moment of victory, and it's something. When you're in this situation, you take what you can get.
Yeah, it's something. Hooray, I guess.
we have one of those 10-hour loop YouTube videos of relaxing waterfall.mp4.
Yeah.
But it's better than
YouTube ad break Zen moment, right?
It's better than infinite space and metal walls. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I guess.
So this is a moment of victory and joy for Mima. Remember, she'd asked to do this before, to provide some sort of relief for the people around her, and she'd been denied. Finally, though, she'd done it, and it worked. But this is Aniara, and as you've probably noticed at this point, nothing lasts forever on this ship.
Literally.
This success and this success and brief moment of joy does not last long. In the wake of this small victory, Mima returns to the quarters she shares with Isabel, and look, this is a podcast about fictional grimdark stories. Aniara is both a story that deals with being human as a group and a story that deals with being human as an individual, and it does not shy away from some of the harsher realities that we as people sometimes deal with. The fact is that in this story, Isabel and the child do not make it past this point. None of it is Mima doing. The choices made by Isabel. We're not going to go into details. We don't need to. So that is where those two characters unfortunately end their story. Remember, you like Sci-Fi.
You like
right?
sci-fi, right?
Right?
Oh, man. And it's crazy that happens once Mima figures out like a way to give people hope and make people more mentally stable. And it's like, hooray, that happened. And it's like you go back to your living quarters and it's like, oh no, there's hopelessness again. I thought we were doing so well, and the Aniara crushes someone else. Yikes.
I mean, even in the context of this film where it is just a steady but slow decline, for some people, hope just isn't enough. And that sounds really kind of glib, and I'm sort of saying that as someone who has had issues with depression for years, and you guys know I've worked with Calm, and I'm doing that again this year, and there's like a whole history there. But for some people, hope isn't enough to continue, and unfortunately for this film, that's one of the examples that they gave. Although, admittedly, in the case of this film, what is there to hope for? Like, you're on your city block floating through space for eternity. Like, there's not a lot to kind of sit there and go, you know what? I love Wednesdays.
Yeah.
There's no Wednesdays.
Well,
Every day is awful.
Even with a Zen projection, that's like, oh yeah, this is calming, and this is our little moment of hope. It's like, beyond that, what is there to look forward to? Right? It's a bleak future, and it's like, yeah, the hollow projection of, babbling brooks and stuff is nice, but that's not a future. That's not
Shide nails it. It makes sense to me. You can't keep telling someone just have hope to keep up their spirits when they have terminal cancer.
True.
When there's nothing in front of you, when there is nothing to look forward to other than, well, tomorrow you get to do this same thing again.
Mm-hmm. You can look
and then
forward
there's
to
nothing else.
The same projection. Isn't it nice? And it's like, no.
I realize that might resonate quite heavily with retail workers, but at the same time, you at least get a day off now and again, Also, that's not me making a I have a fun job joke. I worked behind a bar for quite a few years, and oh dear God.
Honestly, I think most retail people would probably agree with you too, where it's just like, yeah.
Yep. It's like the idea of mundanity and despair, but condensed down into a small, basically a shopping mall / hotel where every window is pitch black. Like, there's nothing. There is nothing there. It's like being stuck in the fucking back rooms. But instead of horrible monsters, you have your own thoughts and nothing else.
Yeah. Also, like, it is rather impressive that Mima is still just trucking along. She has been through a lot. Like, everybody has, but she has been through a lot. Her first purpose with, like, the AI thing got so depressed it blew up. Everybody banned against her and had her in prison because they thought she was, like, stealing it. She was in prison for what, like 2 years? And then everything got so bad, they were like, okay, I guess we'll just let her out. And then all this happens, and it's like, how is she still going?
Oh, she's like, for me, she's like the embodiment of resilience.
Of will and determination in the face of never-ending darkness.
Yeah, just that kind of absolute that kind of refusal to just
give in,
lie down and give in. She every single thing that happens, every horrible event, it affects her. It definitely affects her. But the next day, she still goes, okay, it's a new day.
Yep,
let's go. Like, there are some people in life who just have that kind of incredible desire or like built-in drive to continue existing no matter what the circumstance. And I think one of the main things in the film especially is that she is the embodiment of that. It's like, okay, everything's terrible, but I can keep going. And then things get worse, but I can keep going. And then things get better. And it's like, okay, things are looking up. Then things get way worse than they've ever been. And she's like, no, I'm still going. Like, there's a resilience there that is really, really incredible to watch. So 4 years on, and the remaining crew, and the remaining crew and passengers gather once again in the theatre. The vast majority of the seats are completely empty, with only a fraction of the original roster still alive. The journey so far has taken 10 years, and the attrition rate has been high. Captain Chiffon, who is still going a decade in, talks about how the Aniara is effectively the first of its kind, a human-crewed vessel that has explored further into space than anyone ever before. Those still existing, living is perhaps a strong term, on board the ship, are pioneers, travellers in a way that no one else has ever been. He summons Mima to the stage to present her with a medal for her work on the Mima projector, and slowly, listlessly, she accepts this now meaningless award. In doing so, she notices bandages on his wrists. Even the captain, this paragon of continued survival, is losing the will to carry on.
Oh, boy.
It's so bleak. Like, this is the point in the film where I was like, I might have to turn this off. I'm getting too sad from this.
That is very, very bleak. Holy, accepting an award in an almost empty auditorium from a captain that is just ready to go is just...
on a ship that is continuing to plow into deep space with no hope of, like, rescue. Oh my God. It's so dark. Like,
that's not great.
I legit have reframed what I consider to be like dark fiction since watching this film. Like, I actually have. I've looked at other films and books and games that I've, read or played or whatever, and gone, you know what? Wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't that bad.
Not that bad. Yeah. Sheesh.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't this. So, that's something.
The fact that these people are still here a decade into the journey that was supposed to be 3 weeks to Mars, colonize, you're good, new bright future. And now to them, it's like, man, I sure wouldn't mind being back on, dystopian future Earth.
Oh, God. Again, it's a resilience thing, isn't it? It's just, no, I will live. It's like, but what are you going to do tomorrow? Shut your face. I'm going to live. Okay, all right. I'm not going to prod. We're all good. Imagine the feeling of helplessly drifting into empty dark, and no matter how hard you row, you drift further and further. Yeah.
Yeah, you have been caught in a cosmic riptide.
That's such a good band name. Cosmic Riptide.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah. That would be a great name.
That is the Beach Boys crossed with Meshuggah. That's what. So, okay, at this point, it's going to get worse, because of course it is. At this point, the algae tanks providing both food and oxygen for the remaining people have been contaminated. The algae is slowly rotting and dying.
Yay. Everything is wrong.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is, okay, strap in. Because at this point, we take a hard cut, like a really hard cut. Aniara has these time skips, these leaps forward, but it's relatively small increments. I say relatively because a 4-year time jump is pretty long if you're a human being in that universe. As a viewer, it's quite a long time, but it's not like incomprehensible. This jump is quite severe compared to the ones we've seen so far. We see the Aniara in year 24 of the voyage.
Oh, brother. 24 people. Wow. 24 years in?
Yep. There's still a few in. Also, yes, the chapter is called The Sarcophagus, which is...
I see. Yep. All right. All right. That it is what it is.
Yeah. You'll be shocked to learn that most of the population are dead. You're surprised, I know, but I thought I'd get that over.
Wow, you can't hear my mouth agape with wonder at this new stunning information.
Blown away.
Absolutely flabbergasted.
Mima and a few survivors are sat in the room that Mima once occupied, their eyes glassy, blind, and their bodies emaciated. The ship is dark, the lights have gone out, and there is simply not enough algae left to sustain the few souls still alive. An unnamed woman preaches on the divinity of sunlight, reminiscing the days once spent on Earth, as the Aniara continues to drift into deep space. You like sci-fi, right? You like sci-fi. You're a big sci-fi fan.
How many people are left now? Like, there's got to be single digits?
Oh, there's 11 people in shot, if that.
Oof.
It's rough. Now, if you thought the time skip of 14 odd years was chunky, you are simply not prepared for the severity of this next one. I wasn't. I genuinely wasn't. I distinctly remember watching this film, reading the caption of having this visceral reaction of that cannot possibly be correct. That is not right. The number is too high, and at this point you're probably feeling like you've been emotionally beaten by a big stick with nails in it. We are now in year 5,981,407 of the Aniara's voyage.
I see. So at this point, we are just seeing an empty ship that is just listlessly taking it. It's just bodies everywhere. It has to be. There's no way someone made it almost 6 million years. It's essentially you are just having this sort of out of body camera angle that's just going over all the empty rooms, all of maybe the skeletal dust that remains of the people that were once there, right?
You have absolutely nailed it. Luckily, there isn't a colony of weird, emaciated freaks. No. The ship, now home to nothing but dust, and the particle remnants of the people that were forced against their will to call it home, finally reaches a destination that for a moment looks hauntingly familiar. This doomed and derelict vessel, frozen and lifeless, reaches the Lyra constellation and slowly drifts past a beautiful planet covered in deep blue waters and lush green land masses, an echo of what Earth used to be. You do like sci-fi, right? You like sci-fi? You're a big sci-fi fan?
Yeah, well, it only took them 6 million years to find another habitable planet. No big deal.
That's Aniara.
I gotta be honest. I'm probably gonna go watch it tonight. I'm probably gonna go rent it and watch it just because it's man. Yes, that sounds.
I'm genuinely
awful,
happy to hear that because it's very well done. It is really well acted. I believe it's Swedish. The company that made it is Swedish. The actors are Swedish, or is it Danish? I'm going to get in trouble either way. But it's not an English language film, but the subtitles are really, really well done. And yeah, it's really good. The acting is top notch because it makes you feel like you're actually there, which in some ways is good, but in other ways it's please stop.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's kind of cool that they did eventually do the ship did just keep listlessly, pushing forward for I guess theoretically in that film's universe, it's still just drifting endlessly in space, right? It's just
something that's kind of fun to think about, but obviously not that. I don't think this is something they were going for when it comes to the film. But the idea that the ship might get caught up in this planet's gravity, crash, and then the remnants of the people on board in some way end up, infusing what's around them to the extent that maybe there's life at some point in the future that is equivalent. I don't I don't know how that stuff works, but like there's like I feel like it's an implied poetry there, where it's not just a case of, and eventually the ship found what Earth used to be. Sucks for all the people who died, nearly 6 million years ago. But there's also a little bit of odd cosmic hope, where it's like maybe something of humanity survives just by the fact that it got there.
Mhm.
Like it's a very like depressing ending, but at the same time there's a kind of but then again it's also the universe at large, and probably there's going to be stuff out there that will end up taking the place of what we've got going on, or at least mimicking it in a non-copying way. Like, yeah.
Shai said, when listening to the plot, I'm like, yeah, it's clearly not an American movie, because in an American movie, at the end, Mima Robe would be landing in an escape pod with a gang of saved orphans on a paradise planet as Space Hitler's ship explodes overhead. Yeah, maybe, probably. Man. There was a part of me that was like, oh yeah, it was 6 million years later. If he tells me Mima Robe is still alive, I swear to God. She found a cryopod, of course. She did the aliens thing, and she just, she figured it out. She ganged the system.
That would be a Sunshine level swerve, where just towards the end of the film it goes batshit insane, and you're like, I'm sorry, what? This isn't the film I started watching. What happened? I do like Sunshine. Maybe we should cover Sunshine. Although
I've seen Sunshine.
Sunshine's good. I do like it. It does feel like two films that
very similar, went, right?
Let's just sort of ram them in there. Let's make them connect in the middle. But yeah, I don't know. I think at least once a week since I first saw Aniara, I've thought about it. Like, I genuinely have. And I don't think it's for everyone. I think if you are of a more... I'm trying to think of the right way to put this. If the idea of, like, existential stuff causes issues, it's probably one to steer away from. But if you've got the capacity to take that and think about it without it causing issues, it's a good film. Like, it's actually good. It's well shot. The sound design is really good. The characters are really engaging. The acting is really good. You're not going to see anyone you know, because it's a Swedish-Danish film. So the chances are you're not going to see someone and you're like, I recognize them from X series. You're not going to have that.
They were in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, if you... This is the thing where... At the start, I did sort of say, despite the way I was introduced to this film, I still talk to the person who introduced me to it. As I said whilst we were talking about it, I've had issues with depression. It did stick with me, but I was in a good enough place that it didn't bother me, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It is something to be careful of, though, because, inherently, when it comes to even just like cutaways, they don't shove the idea of, ending things on your terms in your face when it comes to the film. It's not like every 30 seconds.
Right?
It's there. Like, it's implied at the very least. And there is a good, 2-minute scene where it's extremely explicit, which we didn't give the details of because we don't need to.
Yeah.
So, that stuff is present. If you're in a position where you can deal with that, it is actually very good, but it's also not worth risking yourself over, if that makes sense. So
definitely,
yeah.
It's definitely not worth spiraling with not
100%.
Great thoughts just because. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
make sure you're mentally able to deal with it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It is very good. It's also extremely bleak, extremely dark. And I felt like it was just perfect for this podcast because it's very... I mean, grim dark is the thing. You can't tell me this isn't grim and it isn't dark.
Oh, yeah.
It starts out grim and dark, and then it just gets way more
Way
so
worse.
the more you watch it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, hey, like I said at the beginning, the first hit I saw was it's bleak, depressing, and heartbreaking. And brother, you ain't just whistling Dixie. That is that checks all the boxes.
It really does. And the thing is, it's so memorable, and it had such an impact that this is a script that I wrote on a Sunday where I just sat down and went, I don't feel like painting. I feel like writing. What should I do? And then the whole thing just happened. I was like, I guess we should do this now because I've written it.
Hell yeah.
I know I mentioned it before, but it feels very on point. It feels like the kind of thing that would be suitable for a podcast entitled Acceptable Losses.
Yeah.
And I guess
I would agree.
On a grander scale, unfortunately, that ship, it turns out, it was acceptable losses because no one sent help. No one came after them. They were just left to their own devices, and the rest of humanity continued ferrying to Mars. So, sorry guys, but we have limited resources. Good luck. We'll see you in 6 million years. Except we won't.
Yep. Were they regularly ferrying people to Mars on ships like the Aniara?
Oh yeah, like in that
so they had like
screenshot.
A fleet of
in that initial screenshot, you can actually see another ship leaving Earth's atmosphere.
Oh,
it's just above it and to the left, but you can see another rectangle, same shape, same dimensions.
Oh,
so
yeah.
The Aniara was one of God knows how many.
Gotcha. Because, I guess there was a part of me that was like, oh, yeah, this is dystopian Earth. They're running out of resources. Aniara is going to be like the first ferry to Mars. It's like, oh, we don't have enough to make another ship. So the Aniara is going to it's go to Mars. It's going to come back. And that's going to be our main ferry. But, the fact that they had other ships and no rescue was ever sent is just like, well, you're on your own, pal. Unless that's what the spear was for,
ship.
Right, Kirya? That's what the spear was for,
out.
buddy.
How dare you? I refute this theory.
It's from Earth, Kirya. Come on. Anyway, do you want to close us out, or...
You know what isn't hopeless and devoid of joy?
Submerged.
The Acceptable Losses Founders Pack. Oh my god.
Wow. You're getting really good at this, Kirya. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Dear. I think I got a little bit of physical pain from that. It's like something inside me went, this is unacceptable. You cannot do this.
You know what you probably could have found in one of the decrepit shops on the hopeless Aniara?